What is up, you guys? This is Alternate Day 1 on the PS4, and I'm going to give you another Anthem guide video. And with this video is going to be a guide on Tyrant Mine on hard mode. And this is the only mission that's available on the demo, so a lot of you probably have already ran this, but some of you probably have some questions, so we're going to go ahead and go right into it. So on the first part of the mission, you're going to see a couple mines on the floor. You can blow them up if you want, you don't have to. It's not going to alert the enemies or anything. The only reason why I blew them up is because a lot of times my allies generally fight right there while I'm going around picking up all the orbs. But on this part, as an interceptor, you can actually break these turrets without having to shoot at them. You can just go right up there and then just start mailing them, which is what I generally do to all the turrets because they can't aim at you. Now the only downside is enemies can shoot you from the back on any open spot, but that's why you want to pretty much try to align yourself in a way where you're behind the turret where they can't shoot you, because they'll just be shooting at the turret. It's not going to count as damage to the turret though if they shoot at it. And as you can see, all these orbs that I'm picking up right here, the relics or the echoes, these are going to be the things you're going to want to pick up. You can pick up to 3 at a time, or you can go and pick up 1 at a time if you'd like. But when you pick up 3 at a time, you're going to just go ahead and turn those into like this little black pool where you're going to silence the relics, or silence the relics. So I picked up all 3, and I'm just going to go around the back. I'm not going to go around the front because there's enemies there. In the back side, there's no enemies over here. And this is the black pool that I'm talking about right over here. It's going to have all these different relics or like goo sticking out. And I just decided to help out my allies to kill them rather than just going for all the relics this time. So I'm going to take out a few of these enemies, and then I'm going to end up going back to picking up all the relics again. And I also want to let you guys know, just in case you didn't know, enemies will keep spawning as long as those portals are there. I'm not exactly sure how to take those portals out, but I do know that they will keep spawning, so it won't matter how many enemies you really defeat. It really depends on how quick you can get all these echoes cleared, because the faster you clear all these echoes, the quicker you'll just be able to get through this mission. Because as soon as you collect all the echoes and you turn them in to silence the relics, the enemies will stop spawning and they'll just go away, and then you'll be able to move on to the next objective. And now I just completed all the relics, and my team was able to still kill a bunch of the enemies, which is still fine to keep all the enemies on them rather than on me. So I ended up getting disconnected and did have to find a new group because the other group, I guess, just wasn't there anymore or something. But with this part of the mission now, so this is going to be the second retrieve echo version. So another thing I actually forgot to mention was you're going to see the compass under your radar on the top, the middle of the top of your screen. The green, when it shows the 3 green bars blinking like that, that means you're really close to one of the relics. If it's only 1 blinking bar, that means it's in that direction, but you're pretty far from it. And as you can see, there is going to be 4 turrets. 3 turrets which are machine guns, and then one of them is going to be a lock-on rocket. So I would highly recommend for everyone to be focusing on at least 2 or 3 people focusing on taking out the turrets while one other person is taking out ads, because those ads will still do a lot of damage to everyone. But it's pretty much the same exact mechanics to the first one. It's just the second part is a lot harder than the first one. So we're gonna go ahead and, well, everyone went down, so I'm gonna actually go around reviving the others, and I do end up going down a few times. And another thing I also want to mention is enemies with the blue shield will take a lot less damage if you use any bullets on them. So using a sniper or a sword rifle, marksman, anything like that, anything that's a bullet is going to do a lot less damage to them. It's going to do a fraction of their energy or their shield. But it's always a good reason why you should be using your abilities. Your abilities and melee attacks are going to do a lot of damage to shields. So I would highly recommend using, if you're in an interceptor, just spam both of your abilities on them and then just go right in and then start smashing them with the melee ability. If you're using any other abilities or any other javelins, use your abilities and then just keep tapping your shots on them, because even though it's doing very little damage to them, it's still keeping their shield down very little, and it won't be regenerated because they're taking damage. So as you can see, that right there was from the lock-on rocket, and I ended up getting hit twice, unfortunately, because the first time I got stuck, and as soon as I got out, I was too late to evade the second one. But that lock-on rocket is going to apply fire damage to you. So if you do get hit by it and then you have the fire status effects, you can just go into any part of the water, mainly like a waterfall, because it'll rinse off the fire effects. If you're playing an interceptor, I don't know about any other javelins, but with the interceptor, if you have Rally Cry is going to allow you to rinse off all status effects off you and nearby allies. So after you turn in 8 out of 12 echoes, there's going to be a bunch of enemies spawning in, and they're going to spawn in from these portals. The enemy you're going to want to look for is going to be called the Gatekeeper. The Gatekeeper is going to be holding a shield, and the reason why you want to take him out is so that way he unlocks the other four echoes, because the other 4 echoes are going to be locked behind the gate. So that's what I'm doing right now, is I'm looking for him, and now I'm going to use my super, and I'm going to go ahead and just try to mow him down. And then once you defeat him, you can just go to the sides to collect it. And I just ended up going out to go kill this guy. I don't know why I ended up doing it. I think it was just because I was afraid he's going to snipe me out or something. But there are also 3 of my allies down, so I had to think whether I wanted to go and revive them real quick or try to get this part completed. Because once you get it completed, you'll just end up, all the enemies will just go away. But I just decided I didn't want to risk it, so I decided to revive him and go for the other guy, and then I was going to go and pick up all the relics. As you can see, all the relics had been shown up now, so they're going to be the purple castles, so you'll know when they're available. And then once you turn all those in, a chest will pop up, and it's going to pop up on the left side or the right side depending on where you're looking at. But this is where you'll get some of your nice loot. And that part is pretty, I think this is the most chaotic part of the mission. Everything else is pretty smooth sailing. So for this part, this one's a little the same as the first two parts. You are gonna have to go and retrieve these relics, but these relics you won't be able to run with them. You won't be able to fly with. I mean, you won't be able to fly with them. You can run, you can dash and jump, but you cannot fly. And you can only carry one at a time as well. And there's gonna be 6 of them that you need to collect. And the enemies you're going to be facing now are going to be like these spiders, scorpion, mutant, alien type of things. And a lot of them are, most of them are mainly acid. They're going to be shooting acid at you. And I'm not exactly sure what the status effect of acid does, but I'm going to assume that acid makes sure your armor just be a lot weaker. So you don't deal less damage, but you take more damage. And you also take damage over time because acid will deal damage over time. And then once you collect the relics, like I said, there's going to be 6 of them. Once you collect the relics, you're going to go up these stairs, you're going to go up the ramp, and then you're going to turn it into one of these, I don't know what you would call it, I guess an orb. And then you would just go ahead and do more of that. And then there's going to be a lot more enemies that will spawn, and then there will be scars that will spawn eventually as well. And I didn't realize that one of my allies already cleared this room, or both of them already cleared it. But there will be scars that will spawn out. It would be very useful to have at least one person taking out the scars, 1 or 2 people clearing out these ads, while the others are taking care of all the other fragments. Because if you let all these enemies just start wandering around, they'll start pretty much killing everyone, especially the tankers, the guys with the shields, because the guys with the shields do have a flamethrower and they are very, very tanky as well. Yeah, I wasn't sure who had the last relic, so I was looking around who had the last relic. And then I was thinking about going into clearing all these ads, but realized I didn't have my ultimate, so I just backed out. Because if you don't have your ultimate, do not go in to try and kill all them. Now the last fragment was turned in, and you're gonna have to, for this part, everyone's gonna have to go up to the top, and if everyone's in the middle, it'll make the signal go by faster. If it's only one person, as you can see, it's just me up here with the enemy, and the signal on top right is going up little, very, very, very little. So you want that signal bar to go all the way max to green. So when everyone's here and then there's no enemies in the middle, the signal will get a lot stronger, making it go by a lot faster. And I think with the purple orbs, the purple lightning orbs in the air, those, I'm pretty sure those stop you from regenerating shields. So it'll be useful to have at least one person taking care of those purple shields. Sometimes they'll go out of their own though as well. And another thing to keep in mind is using your abilities. If you're going to use your ability, make sure you either use it on the side or you jump. Don't be behind your allies because it's not going to go through your allies, which does suck because it's like a waste of an ability. As you can see right there, I just threw my glaive and it hit the Colossus in the back. Right here is generally where it's going to be really nice to have a storm though, because the storm, even 2 storms, 1 or 2 storms, can pretty much keep this bridge cleared for indefinite. after you do that, you'll end up getting a chest right at the door. So I ended up getting to the gate before my allies, and since they're a little too far behind, they ended up getting teleported to me. But this is going to be the final part of the final boss. And the final boss isn't really that bad. It's not that hard of a boss, actually, in my opinion. He's got 4 really big weak spots. I'm just going to call it a he. I don't know if it's a he or a she, but I'm going to assume it's a she, though, because it's like most mother broods or whatever. But anyways, it's got 4 giant weak spots, and it's really easy to break them, and it does take a lot of damage to break it, but it's very easy to hit it. And then once you do break those weak spots, it's going to have a bigger weak spot inside of it, making it to where you do a lot more damage to it. And right here, myself and the other interceptor both decided to use our ultimates right off the bat on the boss, because it is going to do a lot of damage to the boss. And the thing is, you do want to make sure you do keep an eye on your timer, which is going to be the yellow bar on both right and left sides. And I ended up leaving because my timer was very low, but he ended up staying and he ended up getting killed because of that. So you do make sure you do look at your timer, because the boss will one-shot you with pretty much all different attacks the boss has is a one-shot. The only ones that aren't a one-shot is going to be like the little rapid spray that it does. It's going to spawn out a bunch of like little beads and whatnot, and those little beads are going to just bounce around, and it's going to do some damage, but it's not going to kill you. The other attack is it's going to spit at you, or spit at whoever's in front of him, and it's going to allow you to be webbed, and being webbed means you're going to be stuck, and you just have to keep spamming X. As an interceptor, it's going to be useful on this part if you just keep spamming jump and then melee. So you just slam melee them, because if you don't slam melee and you just try to melee all of them just standing there, you're gonna end up getting killed. If you are what is it called, the ranger, you can use your ultimate and use your mortar. Or if you're a storm, you can just use your AoE abilities just to keep all those enemies pretty much never coming out. So here I actually have a sniper, a charge sniper, which also does have explosive shot, which is probably the strongest weapon in the game in my opinion. At least for the demo version, it's definitely one of the strongest. A great boss and elite killer, or legendary and elite killer. It is only 5 shots though, so I would only recommend using it only on the boss. And I would also only recommend using it when the boss's weak point is broken. So normally in a time like this, if 2 or 3 enemies or 2 or 3 of your allies are down, it would be normally a good idea to have the boss kite the boss around to the other side, so that way when you do kite the boss on the other side, he's very slow, you would be able to end up going back to your allies and revive them, so you don't have to waste like a super or anything to revive them. As you can see, his weak spot did also open up, and they did break it on the other side as well, because when you do break the weak spot, he's gonna fall down on the ground and he's gonna just lay there for a few seconds, which will allow your allies and yourself to break the other weak spots or just deal more damage without him moving around and having to worry about him attacking you. And then also another thing to keep in mind is any side that the boss goes to, so if he decides to go to, for example, the side that we're on right now, enemies will spawn from that specific cave. If he went to a different cave, then they're going to spawn from that cave as well. And then another thing is the boss is not going to come back down from where he came up from. He's going to just come from the little cave where all the enemies are coming from. So here I end up actually getting killed because I don't know whether I lagged or if I got stuck or got stagger locked or something. But the reason why I did end up getting killed really easily too though wasn't because the enemies were meleeing me, it's because of the explosion from the bloaters. I'm just gonna call them bloaters, they probably have a different name. But when they blow up, they're going to blow up and do a burst damage as well, or burst explosive damage, as well as doing acid damage, which is going to be damage over time and making you weaker to more damage. So, you know, it's probably not a good idea to start trying to melee any bloaters. If you get close to them, it's going to be a good tactic to get close to them and then jumping away, because they automatically will blow up when you do get near them. And these right here, this is where you can see all the little brown things floating around. That's what I was talking about, the little bouncers. They will do a little bit of damage on you, but they will, if a lot of them hit you, it can be pretty devastating. So do try to watch out for those as well. And then me being kind of dumb, I decided to go back in and just do that, but I ended up getting lucky picking up some health bars or health orbs that were laying on the floor, and I just figured, you know what, maybe I shouldn't do that, so I ended up backing away. As you see, I just got webbed, but I did use my ultimate to break out of it. If you do get webbed, like I said, you do have to keep tapping X or whatever your jump button is. And then there's also an ability where the interceptor has, and it's called Rally Cry. With Rally Cry, you can just wipe off all status effects on yourself and nearby allies. So if you do get webbed, you'll be able to break out of that just with that. And that is pretty much it with this video, or with this boss. We're going to go ahead and take a look at some of the rewards you can earn as well. Not necessarily what rewards you can earn, but just the little end part of this as well. But anyways, if this helped you out at all, go and leave a like, comment, subscribe. If you have any questions or concerns, let me know down in the comment section as well. And I do hope you guys enjoyed this little guide and whatnot. If you want to see more Anthem videos and guides, please subscribe and let me know what I can do to help you guys be a little bit better, I suppose. And yeah, that's pretty much it. This is all Day One on the PS4. Have a good day, good night, and peace.